Down, down, and down we go, passing through a cramped staircase 40 feet below the surface, holding onto a rope for safety, ducking our heads as the ceiling gets lower and lower. The brick stairs turn to sandbags. Finally, we come to stand at the bottom of Maison Blanche Souterraine, an underground chalk quarry in northern France, just a few minutes' drive from the city of Arras and the Vimy Ridge National Historic Site. More than a century ago, these caves were a haven from the muddy trenches and artillery firing overhead. Canadian soldiers gathered here in 1917 would go on to fight in the Battle of Vimy Ridge. In between eating, resting, and preparing for the next battle, soldiers left impressions on the chalk walls that are still here to this day. As we explored the caves, our flashlights lit up the sketches of cap badges, women's faces, animals, and names.
It's a humbling experience to go down there, traveling in the footsteps of the Canadian soldiers.
Now, two volunteer groups, Canadime, based out of Ontario, and the Durin Group, out of the UK, are racing against time to document and preserve these carvings before the cave collapses. Canadime's artistic and executive director, Zenon Andersson, says being in the cave in the presence of the carvings is moving.
Some really stick in your brain in terms of their lifestyle. The cool thing about doing this kind of work is that the graphics that they left on the walls sort of open a window into the mindset at the time they were down there.
Before he joined up, Private Earl Leroy Lacey was a farmer back home in Dutton, Ontario. He carved his animals onto the walls, like a pig, chicken, and swan.
He's thinking about home.
Lacey wouldn't make it home to see his animals again. He died aged 29 and is buried in France. One tale that sticks out to Andersson is that of the Harvey brothers, who enlisted together. The older brother, William, promised to keep his younger brother, Clarence, safe.
He wound up getting his stripes, and he was going to be moved to another battalion. In other words, they were going to be separated. So what he basically did, he basically gave up his stripes. The unfortunate thing is, the younger brother was killed 2 months later.
Norman Allett, a sniper, left behind a doodle of a woman with curly hair.
We couldn't figure out where that came from. And eventually we got a hold of the family and whatever, and they sent us a whole bunch of photographs. And literally, he was drawing his girlfriend.
Allett survived the war and married his sweetheart. While these dedicated volunteers have been going into the quarry for years now, there is still plenty of work left to be done. Andersson says when they started over a decade ago, the technology couldn't penetrate the wall. The new 3D scanners can pick up the pencil sketches soldiers made on the walls. I even got to try my hand at it. As a member of the Durin Group, David Hedges has spent plenty of time exploring tunnels and caves. The group of about 30 people count among it those with experience in bomb disposal, archaeology, and history, among other backgrounds. For Hedges, the Maison Blanche Souterraine find is unique on the Western Front.
It's dedicated to the Canadians because on the walls there are not only magnificent carvings, but also many, many soldiers have put their names. 750 Canadian soldiers are written on the wall of the cave. So it's by far the richest cave that's ever been found, and particularly poignant for the Canadians.
Maison Blanche Souterraine isn't open to the public because of safety concerns, but occasionally the Durin Group does bring visitors down.
But it is a great experience to bring families back and stand where their own relative was in the First World War. Unfortunately, some of them died, others survived. And it is nice to show particularly Canadian groups around.
There is also some urgency to their work recording and documenting Maison Blanche Souterraine. They don't know when the ceiling could come crashing down, obliterating these magnificent carvings. It's a matter of when, not if, it collapses.
Eventually, it will collapse, as is the fate of all souterrains. France has an ongoing problem because houses, etc., are collapsing into these souterrains all over the place. So it is very important that we fully recorded what is there in the worst case, it does start deteriorating badly.
So we don't want to lose that. This is our Canadian heritage, really.
The volunteers are still making new discoveries. The day I was there, they uncovered a sketch on the wall they hadn't noticed before. April 9th, Grand Advance. The author, of course, couldn't have known that the Grand Advance would one day be known as the Battle of Vimy Ridge, a defining moment of Canadian history. Elizabeth Whitten, CBC News, St. John's.